Hello guys, today's video not gonna be a tutorial. It's gonna be a video to give you a guide of our first mini four-wheel drive tire trimmer. This is our first tire trimmer. I already manufactured like 10 of them and it's already sold out before I release it. So anyway, finally I got this one in my hand. As you can see, it's made by aluminum and some parts is steel. So it's really big. I know a lot of people have the one from AliExpress, like this one, $200 or $300, whatever. But this one is totally different. First thing, it is 4 times size bigger than this one, and also this one has better XY table. And this XY table will be getting a little bit loose after you use for a while because it is all the traditional setup. And look at the new one. The new one is, I would say, it's a floating table, and it's floating on top of a track, and you can see I try to waggle it. It's not really move, okay, but it can move like that, freely like this, okay. But we try to waggle it, it's not gonna be wiggle, okay. So it's super solid. And plus, this one you don't need any maintenance. You only have to clean once a while if you get some scrap dust around it. Just use those dust spray to spray around it and just make sure it's clean. And you don't have to add any oil to maintain the track, and it's already like really smooth like this, you can see. Okay, so for the tire trimmer, what you're gonna receive, this is all the accessory come with it. There's more than 20 pieces right here. Okay, first you're gonna have 8 pieces of wheel shaft. Okay, it's made by steel. It's pretty strong, but of course, I mean, if you really force it, it will be bent as well. But just make sure when you trim tire, you have to be really gentle. And also, it comes with some additional screws. That's for mounting other blade, which is you can, the extra one. And of course, come with a different size of the wrench. And this is for you lock the shaft on top of that like this, okay? And also come with 4 of the wheel adapters. Those wheel adapter, it is for if you want to put a tire trim on that and make it like sling tire, whatever, you can use that. But actually today, I don't really recommend this. I only using this one to spread my tire. And the next one, it is the tire spread blade. This is for spread your tire. I'm gonna explain this one later. And the next one, this is for the wheel cap remover. Okay, so some of a wheel, you will know there's a cap on top of that. Let me give an example so you can understand what I'm talking about. Such as this type of wheel, you can see there's a cap on top of that. If you want to remove that cap, you can use that blade. Okay, and the next one, it is the dust cover. This is a dust cover. So you have to open it and assemble it on top of that. And it's gonna be looks like this. Let me show you mine. So you're gonna put like this. When you trim the tire, you can just put on top of like that, and they're preventing all the dust or scrapers to come to your eye. So this design is like a goggle to protect your eye. So next one is universal power adapter. This power adapter, it is 110 to 240 volt. So pretty much universal. And also has an adjust knob on the side. You can adjust from 12 volt to 24 volt. Okay. And the next is the power cord for the adapter. And the next one, it is L wrench. This L wrench, it is for different size of the hex nuts we have right here to open and release and lock it. Okay. And then next is the 2 handle. This handle is a micrometer handle. So you can, when you're turning, you're gonna see this one is lifting up, and it go the other way, it's going down. Okay. So this 2 handle is for the XY table. In order to, you can control the motion of the table like this. So next, it is very important tool for the wheel trimming and the tire trimming. Okay, so this 2 is a handle, and this is the blade right here. Okay, so when you receive it, it also comes with the screwdriver. Make sure you lock it on top of that. And this type of the handle looks like this kind of shape. It has a double side, which means one side is broken, you can turn around using the other side. Of course, if you want to buy a replacement, also I have it. Okay, and it's made by all carburetor. You can see it is carburetor, really strong. Okay, this is for trimming the wheel, and If you follow my Instagram, you probably noticed like when I train my wheel to make the perfect run, I'm using this blade, and this blade comes with two different angle. One, it is for the forehand, which is going to like this direction, and the other one going to backward, which is like going this direction. It is forward and backward basically. And also next one is coming with the handle for the tire trimmer. So this is the tire trimmer handle, and this is the blade of the tire trimmer. So when you have it, release the screw and put on top of that and lock it with the screwdriver I provided on the package. Okay. And next, this is the tire rounder blade. Okay, so this is where round edges of your tire. So let me give you guys an example. You can see this tire right here don't have, it's really pretty much 90-degree angle right here. It is like a really sharp edges right here. So if you want to make the edges like round like this, so as you can see, this is round edges right here. If you want to make a round edges, you can use this blade. Okay, you can see this is round edges right here. So when you using this blade to trim edges of a tire, so when it's contact like this, it will give you a round, smooth edges for the side. And the other side, it is giving a 45-degree angle edges right here. So they have both sides. Make sure the purpose is different. I'm gonna show the detail later. Okay. And the next, this pieces, it is for lifting up the blade. Okay. So because some blade I have, like such as this one, it is really slim. So you need some steps, which is these are steps. You put steps on the bottom, and then you can put a blade on top of that. You lift the blade up a little bit, giving a little bit of elevator for you trimming the tire, and by using the blade. Okay, so let's move to the operation, all different type, and how we use all the tools. Okay. Okay, when you first receiving this tire, you have to assemble it because everything it is not assembly yet. So we're gonna have something right here to block this right here, and also something right here to block right here, and make sure remove that stopper. Okay, so gonna release the XY table. Make sure this XY table still can move freely when you don't have nothing on it, but it comes with a spring on the bottom, so it will, when you push up, it will go back to the original position. So it's kind of easier for you operating. Remember what I mentioned earlier, those cheap AliExpress tire trimmer? I used to have this one for using for a couple years, but eventually I found a better tire trimmer, better than this one. Of course, this one of them. And the problem with this one, it is like you have to keep like adjust the side and make it, the table not moving, because this is not like this one floating table. It is like older design. So after a while, you're gonna be getting waggle, and you have to keep adjust the side of the knob and the screws to make it tight. And after you make it tight, the problem it is when you turn this thing, you're gonna feel a lot of resistance, which is like, after a while it's gonna getting tired because it's really tight. I mean, it's really hard to turning it. So with this one, you can see everything is 3D, and also when you receive it, you're gonna have this the switch or the mount on top of the motor, and make sure there's double-side adhesive on the back. You peel that off and make sure you place on top of that. Okay, make sure stick on top of that actually. And this is the power adapter, the port. Okay, next let's put a handle on. When you put a handle on, doesn't really matter which one because both of them exactly same. Okay, just make sure you have to enter all the way right here. Okay, make sure all the way. Okay, it might be very tight to insert the two handle. The best way to do it, is get one of the wrench come with it and insert to the gap right here. Kind of like lift up this one a little bit so it can get a little bit loose. So like this. Okay, so see, if I don't lift it, it's really hard to get into it. And you can kind of lift up. You can gently, just slightly lift up a little bit right here so you can get into it like this. Okay. So after that, when you install two handle, then put a two screw to lock this two end. So okay, make sure you find the right size of a screw because there's 3 different sizes, and this is looks like the not this one. This is the smallest one. Should I have another one like a medium size, which is I believe it is this one right here. Okay, so this is the one for the locking right here. Okay, so we're gonna lock here and here. Okay, then we're using the L wrench to lock tight. Okay, you don't have to lock all the way, but make sure it is tight. Okay, so right here, as long as can stay, this one stay on, so it's right. Okay, so you can see this one's waggle, and the whole table is waggle because this back have special design of footing. So this footing to preventing against the vibration. So don't worry about it when table is moved like this. It basically it's giving better vibration protection. Okay. Okay, next after we assembly, there's another screw you have to put on, which is this one right here, and also another one right here. Okay, so you can put a blade on this direction and also this direction, so it doesn't really matter. And also you can see we still have a lot of like a screw left over, so don't worry about it, that's extra pieces. Next we're gonna assembly this part right here. This is the top cover for the like works like a goggle for protect your eye to preventing the dust or either scrap and during trimming. Okay, so you're gonna have this one. Okay. And then make sure you put like this. Okay, you have to put like this, and remember there's also come with another screw, which is you can lock on the back of that. Okay, so okay, after you put on top of that, make sure this thing have to stay level on this direction. Okay, so see I keep it loose because I want to make sure when you can push right here, put one finger right here, holding right here and push down, make sure it's completely vertical and horizontal. Okay, then lock right here on the back, so this one can stay level on top like this. Okay, next we're talking about the operation of different size of blade. First, so whatever you put on it, and this one comes with a nut like this, the big nut, and this is a chuck. Make sure the chuck don't take it out because you can't take it out because it is all in one pieces. And you can make sure you always lubricant right here. Once it's like you can feel this is right here. Right now I have a little bit lubricant, but make sure you always clean right here and always lubricant when it's getting dry. Okay, so you would put on top of that. Okay, and then you can see whatever you put on it, it's like this. Okay, so make sure insert all the way, and then I'm gonna have 2 wrench and one right here holding right here, the other one holding on top of that, and lock. So don't have to be locked really tight. I mean, as long as you can feel it's locked. Okay, so it's gonna be like this. Okay, so next gonna plug in power. Right here, here's my power. Okay, I just plug in the power. There's a switch right here. You can adjust the power. So that's gonna increase the RPM for the motor. So when I turn that on, right now on 12, then I turn on 24. You can hear it's getting faster, and when I drop to 12, it's gonna be getting slower. Okay, so this is how it is. Okay, you can gradually up, 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 all the way. Okay, then you can going down, 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 down like that. Okay, turn the power off like that. So every single time you want to remove the wheel, just lose it and take it out, and make sure you just all the way. Then we'll take it out. Okay. And the next, let's talk about the other blade. Okay. So okay, no matter what you have to do, make sure you always have to pierce your wheel. Okay. How to pierce a wheel? If you follow my YouTube channel, there's a wheel piercer we're talking about. 324. This is what I normally use, the 324 wheel piercer, which is right here. Okay, make sure always pierce your wheel, and when you insert the tire wheel shaft into the wheel, make sure when you insert, make sure you can feel the hex, and then make sure don't force it, and then just follow the canal, the size of a hex, and insert like this. Okay, and then it's gonna be looks like this, and then when you put on it, okay. First, just lock a little bit and by hand, and then use the wrench, tie up a little bit. Okay, before you start to trim your tire and trim your wheel, it's very important to check, make sure your wheel it is pretty straight. And I know some wheel it is pretty crooked. I mean, it's too much. It's just a little bit crooked. It's fine. You always can trim. It's become perfect. And it is like, but it's like this one. This is perfect. You can see this is perfect, round from the box. Okay, but you still have to trim because remember this is plastic. When they make the plastic wheel, you always will notice the inside actually is thicker, outside is slimmer. So you have to use the wheel trimmer blade to trim that. Okay, so here's a wheel trim blade. I'm gonna assemble it. Okay. Okay, I'm just gonna use two of my I have on my hand because these two are totally brand new. I don't want to use it. So you're gonna have wheel trimmer blade like this. I already explained to you. You're gonna have one forward and the other one backward. And next, I'm gonna release that and release that. Make sure one thing, there's another blade on the back. Make sure this screw when you mount on it, don't hit that because you're gonna damage this part right here. Just make sure always the screw, always the last screw on this one right here, this screw, the last hitting point is right here. Don't go all the way hitting that because you're gonna break that blade right here. So make sure every single time you mount it, you take a look at it and don't damage the other side of the blade. Okay, after you lock like that, and you get a correct size of the L wrench and lock it. Okay, like this. Okay, let's go ahead and trim the wheel. So when using this one, you're gonna feel it's pretty loose, but the table is really strong to move at all. But you're gonna be having very easy time to move your XY table. That's the most tire trimmer you bought a cheap one. They cannot do it because they have older design. It's always wiggle, and they always very like having hard time to moving the XY table. But with this one, you feel it's really easy and loose. Okay, but also the table will stay very stable and no move, no waggle at all. Okay, so this is a good thing about this tire trimmer. Okay, let's move all the way to right here. Okay, so make sure every single time you trim your wheel, makes a perfect round. Make sure you have to be gradually, slightly, little by little. Okay, don't trim all the way too deep because you're gonna damage this wheel. So normally I will just like go right here, and then once I hit it, I just move, okay, like this. Okay, see, you can see it's already we have first layer finish, and then let me increase my RPM a little bit. Okay, that seems too low. And then next we do that again, then move this handle, go this direction a little bit more so we can continue trimming. Yeah, make sure you trim wheel, put a little bit higher RPM because low RPM then you're gonna have a little bit of trouble with trimming the wheel. So you can see, let me give you a better angle so you can give a detailed looking. So you can see all the side being trimmed a perfect round. And make sure you always take out the blade out like this. And then if you want to trim edges right here, making sure it's perfect round, you can go ahead and trim this part right here. This edges, inside edges. Okay. Like this. Okay. Then we stop. You're gonna see the inside is perfect round as well because I told you this is plastic. It's not gonna be perfect round. That's why you have to use a trimmer to balance the wheel, make sure perfect round. Next, we're gonna trim the frame, the outside of the frame, to make the frame, the wheel is perfect round as well. So gonna be go a little bit inside like this and remove it. So you can see the outside, this part came out like this. Okay, so right now you can see your wheel, it is perfect round. And I suggest you, after you trim a little bit, using sandpaper to remove the scrap. I would be doing like this. So okay, you can see right now it's a super polish on the edges, no extra scrap like this. For the backward blade, the backward blade actually is trimmed from different direction. It trimmed from the left to the right, and this is the forward hand blade. It's actually, I would say, front hand, and this is trimmed from right to the left. So it's from for different direction. So this different blade for different direction. So we're gonna using backward blade. Backward blade actually we use to trim the other side of you know, the frame of the wheel. Okay, so we go all the way. We go all the way to this side right here. Okay, then make sure you aim like this and like this. Then we turn the machine on. Okay, let me give you a better angle of view. Okay, so make sure slow. Okay, we stop. And then same thing, sandpaper. A little bit, like remove the scrap a little bit. This is 800 number sandpaper, so make sure you're using 800 number. So here's the result of, you can see the back. It's like perfect round, and like the detail right here. So okay, you guys can see right now the wheel is super round like this. Okay, and the back too. Okay, except my blade is pretty old, so that's why you can see a little bit. Not actually, when using finger to contact, it's not really rough. It's just like having those you know, kind of like I don't know how to say that, but those waves, don't worry about it. That's because my blade is old. I have supposed to replace my blade every 100 trim, because you're gonna wear and tear it. Okay, so anyway, this is how it looks like. Okay. Okay, next, let's move to next. Next, we're gonna talk about how to spread your tire, and also how to trim your tire with this. So make sure you always glue your tire on top of the wheel. I have to glue it, because otherwise the tire will move during trim. Okay, and also when you glue your tire, it's gonna be very precise trim. Okay, so let's just lock the tire on top of that. Okay, first thing, we talk about how to spread the tire. So this is the tool for spreading the tire. I also suggest you to use Tamiya blade. This is a Tamiya blade. Okay, you can find Tamiya, whatever your local shop, they carry this. Okay, and also when you buy my machine, also come with like maybe 10 pieces right here. This is very sling blade. It's slinger than Tamiya, but it's really up to you. I mean, I suggest you to use a Tamiya blade, because this one, I'm pretty sure you cannot really find a replacement in your local shop. So, but of course, it depends what you have. And also remember one thing, this one has a screw right here. You can always lose it and lock it. So every single time you want to replace your blade, you just have to lose right here and lock right here. Okay, so like this. And make sure you're using these steps. These are steps I told you. This is not for trimming tire. This is for giving a step, giving an elevator to lift the blade a little bit up. So when you're using this one, you have to have this one on the bottom of the XY table, and then put on top of that. Okay, so this one you can put like this. Okay, and then we lock it. Okay, and make sure you have to have another screw right here, and this screw too far, you can put another screw right here a little bit closer. So you can lock the end of this blade right here. Okay, so for doing that, actually pretty easy. This XY table, you don't have to do with the handle. You can just push your hand like this to spread the tire. But make sure first time, try to feel that. Okay, let me show you guys. Okay, so when you turn that on, okay, you can just push in like this. Okay, make sure when you feel you contact the wheel, the feeling of when you're holding this table to contact the tire and the contact wheel is totally different. So when you feel you're hitting something, you stop, and then you can just peel off like this. You can see it's really smooth the surface is really round. And also you can use this stopper to help you. And this stopper is preventing your table, the XY table going all the way. So you can use this one right here. Let me show you how to use this one. So okay, you see the stopper right here? So once you move all the way to here, it will hit, it will stop right here. But make sure when you want to stop in certain point, you look at it, your blade, the tip's gonna stop where it is like this. See that? Let me give a better angle so you can see better angle right here. You can see like this. So preventing you over cutting the tire all the way to the wheel. Okay. So, but if you get used to it, you don't have to use this, because when you push in, you can feel the, the weight is different, because when cutting a tire is more soft. When you contact the wheel, you can feel you contact something. So in this case, you know to stop. Okay, so this is how you set up your table to cutting the tire. Okay, and also after cutting it, if you're cutting different color of the tire, you can also, you see, when you put it back, you're not gonna see any gap because it's so perfect. So you can cut in different color of the tire and put them together, and they're gonna be, see, when you put it back, you're not gonna see any gap like this. It's so perfect. So if you want to do a color like tire like this one, this is how you do it. Okay. So next we're gonna talking about this. This is the for round edges. It's the same thing. You just have to release the screw. Okay, and then put this one on top of that like this. Okay, and then push in like this. Okay, but you're only gonna trim edges, so make sure just like you trim the edges, like turn on, and it's gonna round your edges. Okay, make sure every single time you hitting the same point, so all the tire gonna came at exactly same. Okay, so next we're talking about the tire trimming. So this is the blade for tire trimming. So for the tire trimming, you don't need the steps. Okay, the steps we're talking about is this one. You don't need steps because this one already like big enough, and you don't need anything. Okay, make sure when you trim a tire, the blade have to be, see the blade have to be facing up like this. Okay, so set up the blade like this. Okay, so let me trim a little bit, show you how it works. Okay, so make sure you lock tight. Okay, let me take that pieces off. Okay, turn the machine on. Okay, make sure slowly trim. Okay, you don't have to rush, don't cut in too deep, and cutting layer by layer. Okay, so you're gonna see a little bit rough surface, so don't worry about it. Then turn that on again, slowly go to the other direction again. Make sure slow. Okay, so when you go slow on the other direction, you'll fix the surface. Okay, let me show you after I finish. Okay, see, the surface got it fixed. Let me give a better angle, you can see it. See, right now it's become a smooth surface. If you want to polish using number 1500 sandpaper to polish it, it's really up to you. Okay, so it's already really perfect like this. So depends how many sides you want to trim, so you just keep like trimming. Make sure do all 4 wheel in one ton together. I mean, I would say together. So I'm just doing 1 wheel. So you want to do all 4 wheel. Make sure you have all four wheel mount on the shaft and trim together. Okay, so suppose you trim this one layer and remove it and put another one and trim another layer, and after you finish all 4 and then go a little bit deeper and trim all 4 wheel again. So that's how you make your all wheel same size. Okay, next we're gonna talking about this one. This is for the wheel cap removing. So if you want to have this same thing, you have to have okay, next we're going to talk about this one. This is the wheel cap remover. So this one, make sure you have to put on this side right here. So make sure you have the steps on the bottom, and give you a little bit elevator for this tool, so you can lock on top of that. Okay, like this. Okay, next what you have to do it is, if you want to remove something on these edges, make sure you have to loose this thing a little bit, and make sure this one has to be go all the way to the back. Okay, so remember I have a stopper, so it's stop me from certain distance. So make sure you adjust your stopper. Okay, like this. So like this. Gonna stop right here before it's hitting the center of the shaft right here. So you're gonna do like this. So if you want to remove your ring, actually it's pretty simple. You just have to turn the machine on like this. Okay. So just gonna keep doing like this. Okay. So make sure still gradually, slowly. Don't do too deep. Actually, I'm not really worried about a machine. I'm worried about you're gonna damage your wheel and bend this shaft. Okay, so because you're going too much force, it's not really gonna be really good. Okay, let me show you. So after you finish, gonna see it's gonna be really smooth right here. Let me give a better angle so you can see. So those scraps you can remove with the blade. Normally what I do it is I use the standard like pencil blade to do like this, so it can scrap off. Okay, see, gotta be clean like this. Okay, so this is the machine, and last thing about I want to talk about it. You're gonna see there's a two screw right here locate on this right here, and let me show you. It's located right here, and another one right here. Okay, if you lose these two screws, you can turn your table with angle. Let me show you guys. Okay, so in order to want to trim something with angle like a tire, give it like an offset, you lose this end, you can turn the machine like this way. Okay, so no matter what you want to turning, so make sure right here probably you have to adjust this one, otherwise it's gonna hitting, either remove it or either take it out. So you can turn the machine like this, all the way like this, no matter what angle you want it. Just make sure after turning and lock the screw like this. Okay, so let me just put it back to the original position and lock it. Okay, right here. So here we go. So here's everything about this video, and give you a very basic idea how to operating the machine. For detail how to use it, you have to keep using it, and you will find a way to operating that, because everybody has different style. So but just like everything explanation, and this is how it is. And again, so this is our first prototype. I already sold like maybe 10 pieces already, and I'm gonna keep manufacturing more. Of course gonna manufacture another small model. This may be too big for most people, because it's really, you look at small on the video, but actually it's pretty big. You know what I mean? So anyway, here's my video, and if you have any question, just go ahead and go to my Instagram, because normally I don't really answer the question on YouTube. And if you go to my Instagram and you leave a message on, or either comment on my private message, or either leave a comment on my post on the Instagram, I will answer. Okay, so anyway, here's everything for today's video, and thank you for watching.